How we doing, TikTok Nation? You know what it is. I got to do this at least once a week without any hesitation. But hopefully everybody's doing good. I went live on Instagram earlier, and of course, like I said, I usually don't get the love on there like I get on here. So I figured I'm still making content tonight. It's been a content day. It's been a get things done day. It's been a good day. It's been a bad day, but it's been a day. So, I look at it like that. Um, Earlier, I talked about when I was on Instagram. I was basically talking about how the cutoff game is real, contracts are expiring and whatnot is real. But then in regards to when I say contracts expiring, basically meaning that relationships and friendships are expiring in 2025, going into 2026. But I will say with all sincerity that one thing that is for sure is that I saw it's amazing how the amount of stupid ignorance on social media will get so much attention. And it just boggles my mind. Like Myron Gaines. And I'll say that. I look at this guy and when he talks, he's supposed to be a grown man, but he sounds like a freaking, not only just, a racist in a sense or prejudice or whatever you want to call it, but he literally sounds like an overgrown frat boy. That's what blows me. It's just like, and the thing is, the overgrown frat boys are getting more and more. It's kind of like they say the hoes are winning, and then overgrown frat boys are winning in a sense as well. And when I say that, it basically means the people that sound like they've never read a book in their life. This guy used to be a customs agent. Or sound like they've never, a person sound like they've never actually been anywhere and they engage in any sort of intelligent conversation. It just boggles my mind that guys like that in the social media world are winning, and he's even sitting on panels trying to have political debates and whatnot, and he sounds like a freaking moron half of the time. But that is the world that we live in nowadays, where a lot of people, regardless of their background, they can be, come online famous. We saw, because people like him, the fresh and fit, misfits, idiots, whatever you want to call them, they became very, very popular during the pandemic, during the lockdown, because, remember when the world was locked down, that's when, people spent more and more time at home, number one, and the people spent way more time on social media than they have in American history. I won't say the world history, but definitely American history and whatnot. Because in my state, in Virginia, we were locked down for at least a year. At least a year. Now, got locked down in the middle of 2020, and then we didn't fully open back up until probably the middle of 2021. So it was a time. I do not miss those days. So even the hint of being locked down, because I'm a guy that likes to travel, is just not, as my cousin would say, she would say it's not sexy. And I want my life to be sexy, damn it. You feel me? I want it to be sexy. So anyway, I'm talking trash. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, the overgrown frat boys and the immature women, a lot of them will get a lot more attention and whatnot on social media because, depending on, the flow of the algorithm, ignorance prevails. But hey, as they say, in a sense, ignorance always prevails because it keeps certain people distracted. And if you're distracted, then that means you're not a threat. Meaning, I won't even say threat. If you are distracted, that means you're nobody's competition, because regardless of what you may think, life is like a boxing match. Life is like a football game, and one side has to win. It's not like people who are, and shout out to my soccer fans / football fans, as they call football in other countries, every other country except the United States. But, they could have a tied game. But in America, and I'm not even a real sports guy, but in America, a football game, people want to see a winner, especially the fans, because fans didn't go into debt over getting tickets, dealing with the traffic to get to the game, going into debt, buying drinks and food and whatnot at the game to see a game to where people had a tie. They will burn the state. It's like the Philadelphia fans. No shade towards the Philadelphia fans, but y'all know what it is. Y'all will kill, burn, and pillage the city if you win or lose the game. So no shade towards the Philadelphia fans. I don't want no smoke with y'all, but you know what I'm saying. So, but at the end of the day, it's just like, In the certain instances when it comes to the social media game, intelligence becomes irrelevance and ignorance becomes brilliance. That is the world that we are living in today, and it is it's entertaining, it's sad, and funny all at the same time. It's a combination of a multitude of things, but that's the world we live in. Because if you're watching right now, please do the free thing. Just hit the like button. That's all I ask. I'm not asking for no money. Hit that like button. It's great for the algorithm, Could you do that? Would you do that? Anyways, but let me know in the comment section how your Saturday evening's going. Like I said, I still got another video to get done, but I figured I'd do this as a system. Because what is it? I gotta upload some stuff on here. Matter of fact, let me put the mute button on here so I don't want no copyright issues, because I don't want any smoke with TikTok, because this is my second TikTok page I had to create because my last one got taken away from me because of quote unquote I wasn't following the rules. And in the social media world, the whole fair use thing, slowly but surely, you got to play the game, because if you don't play the game, then you're gonna end up like a lame. But anyways, as the video I made on Instagram, which mostly I won't likely be able to download because I've been having issues with my Instagram account. This is why I like doing my lives on TikTok. I was basically talking about how, contracts with certain people, a good chunk of people in my life have expired, friends and family, things of that nature. And it's cool because I always say, the best way to progress in this life is to be able to go to other places, number one, and meet new people. A lot of people that I grew up with, they still live here in the DMV area where I'm at. Shout out to the DMV. I'm on the Northern Virginia side, 30 minutes south of Washington, D.C. They haven't progressed mentally, physically, spiritually. They're still stuck. A friend of mine, if he sees this, oh well. The fact that we had a conversation, he was talking about, he actually, because he worked for the water department, water and sanitation department. He was telling me how he would drive back to the neighborhood we grew up in, and he would eat his lunch and just reminisce about the days of being. I'm like, bro, we were kids back then. We were teenagers back then. Why are you still looking in the rearview mirror at your childhood and whatnot? Like that was the best time of your life. Because that's the saddest thing for a lot of people. Like, to me, your childhood shouldn't have been the best part of your life. It's a good time. Either it was good or a bad time in your life, but it shouldn't have been the best time of your life. Like everybody should be able to look at. I look at it like this: if you're fortunate enough to make it to your 60s and 70s and whatnot, even possibly 80s, and you're of the have a coherent mind to be able to look back on your life, you can say, when I was 12 years old, this was a good time because of this. When I was 25 years old, this was a good time because of this. When I was 35, 45 years old, this was a good time because of this. But the only time I could look back on my life is to say the only good part of my life was when I was as a child or in my 20s. You've lived a sad life. And that's just my personal opinion. Like I said, no shade, no hate, but I want to have the rest of my life to be the best of my life. I don't know about y'all, but I want the rest of my life to be the best of my life. And I don't want to just look back on my 20s and say that was the best part of my life and everything else has been downhill. Because then I call that's basically the bitter old person's mindset. If you look back in the day, if you ever see the show like that 70s show, Married with Children, Al Bundy, things of that nature, all those guys, by the time they hit 40, were miserable as all get out. Because they would go to work a thankless job, come home, wife and kids was a pain in the butt and whatnot, and the only part of the day that they looked forward to was having a drink and watching a football game. And that is the epitome of my existence and my life. Shoot me and get it over with. Not advocating for violence, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking hypotheticals here. It's like if the best part of my life is me sitting down, having a drink, and watching a football game, there's more to life than that. That's just me. There's a world out here. I want to explore it, and I leave it at that. So but that's why I said, contracts with a lot of people have expired. And you got to know when to let contracts in your life expire. You know what I mean? With certain people, you got to know when to let them go. It's that old Kenny Rogers, like that old Kenny Rogers songs. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. You know what I'm saying? And with a lot of people, there's some ones you can hold on to, but unfortunately, there's going to be more people that you're going to have to let go in order for you to progress in life, in order for you to go to the next level. I always look at life like grade school. You had elementary school, you had middle school or junior high, depending on the part of the country you grew up in. Then you have high school, then you have community college, then you go out to the workforce and whatnot, or you own your own business, or you join the military. But there's levels to life, regardless of whether you like it or not. So the question is, are you prepared to go to the next level? Are you, like when you were in grade school, you had to leave one building and go to another building, It's like going from one job to another job, or starting one business to another business or whatnot. You got to be ready to go to the next level, but are you willing to do that? Are you ready to do that? Are you prepared to do that? Is that something that's ever even in your mind or whatnot? Because a lot of times, unfortunately, a lot of people have that mindset of this is my comfort zone. This is where the buck stops here. I don't want to progress. Well, hey, you live in the age of robotics and AI. You have no choice but to try to progress, or you will regress and be left out in the freaking dust. All right. So, but what do I know? You'd be tossed aside like pizza crust. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. That's my personal opinion, So contracts expire, people expire obviously not a passing away standpoint or dying standpoint, because I don't wish anything bad on anybody, but things expire because you've progressed, they've progressed, and there's nothing for you all to do except be stagnated and be the same. And my mindset to be stagnated and be the same is basically living a life of a lame. So I'll leave it at that. But anyways, I'm going to get into this next video to record, but I just wanted to go live, show some love to my TikTok folks. And the easiest thing you can do is do the great 3 things: like, share, and subscribe. Check out my YouTube channel, Larry's Anything Goes LLC, and then check out my other YouTube channel, Patterson L Properties LLC. Subscribe, because if it's free, then you know if it's me. Take care. Always say, make money moves like a little bird, like a say in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. Have a good night.